Ancient Rome was a place where masters held absolute power and inflicted unspeakable cruelties upon the powerless. What hid within the homes of ancient Roman masters, away from the public eye? Join us as we decode the voice of the voiceless in a society where oppression reigned and the voices of the enslaved struggled to be heard. Chapter 1. Introduction. The ancient world bore witness to a long and entrenched history of slavery, prevalent not only in Rome but also in ancient Egypt and Greece. Unlike the racially based slavery that marred modern history, Roman slavery was not contingent upon race but encompassed individuals from diverse backgrounds and origins. The ranks of Roman slaves comprised captives taken in war, sailors who fell prey to ruthless pirates, or those purchased beyond the borders of the Roman Empire. Unfortunate circumstances sometimes led desperate citizens to resort to selling their own children into servitude to raise much-needed funds. Have a look at this famous painting, The Slavery Market, by Gustave Clarence Rodolphe Boulanger, painted in 1882. Can you get an idea about the condition of slaves from this painting? During Caesar's rise to power, Roman Italy housed a considerable population of slaves, estimated to be between 20 to 30% of the total populace. In Rome, this percentage might have been even higher due to the city's constant expansion, attracting a growing population in need of labor, services, and even sexual exploitation. Chapter 2. Role of slaves. Roman society stratified slaves based on their roles. At the pinnacle were educated advisors, often Greeks, esteemed for their civilization until their subjugation under Roman rule. Greek tutors, though bearing elevated titles, were still considered slaves in high society. Domestic slaves served as personal attendants, servers, and cleaners, while workers on large farms, quarries, mines, and marshes occupied the lowest rung. The plight of workers in these challenging environments often led to short, miserable lives, although some owners treated their slaves with relative humanity. The most appalling fate for a slave awaited those condemned to life as galley slaves or mine workers, enduring unimaginable suffering. Despite facing such hardships, some slaves found recognition in gladiatorial combat or as skilled entertainers, but they never attained true freedom. Chapter 3. Crucifixion and other punishments. Crucifixion, a form of punishment well known in Rome, was inflicted on slaves, criminals, and traitors alike. The crucifixion of Jesus stands as a prominent example, but countless others suffered this excruciating fate under Roman rule. Crucifixion became a common practice, emblematic of Rome's oppressive rule over regions stretching from Europe to the Middle East. Despite the immense suffering endured by countless individuals, their stories often fade into the shadows of history, with the legacy of crucifixion overshadowed by the well-known tale of Christ's crucifixion. Crucifixion was a prolonged and agonizing form of execution, where death could come through drowning in the water-filled lungs or exposure to extreme heat or cold. The arenas, including the Colosseum in Rome, served as venues for gladiatorial games and other bloodthirsty spectacles. Local and regional colosseums throughout the Roman Empire witnessed executions, horrifyingly, as forms of entertainment. Sexual slavery was a deplorable practice in ancient Rome. Slaves were obtained through conquest and trade, especially from Africa and the Middle East. Some slave owners resorted to breeding slaves for a ready-made labor force, impregnating women and girls either by other slaves or by themselves. Chapter 4. Routes out of slavery. In ancient Rome, the process of granting freedom from slavery was known as manumission. Various methods were used to achieve this, depending on the circumstances and the master's wishes. One common method was through a ceremony conducted in the presence of a magistrate. Some slaves were set free upon their master's death, as a condition specified in the will. Others received their freedom when their master personally declared them free, subsequently allowing them to formally register as Roman citizens. For female slaves, manumission could occur through marriage to their master. In rarer cases, some slaves managed to buy their freedom through financial means. However, this method was less common, as many slaves lacked the financial resources to achieve this level of independence. Overall, manumission provided a ray of hope for enslaved individuals, offering a pathway to a life of liberty and, in some cases, Roman citizenship, marking a significant transition from the shackles of servitude to the promise of a freer future. Thank you for watching. Like this video and subscribe to our channel.